Hello to all class 10 students and class we are doing right now lesson number 9, and the name of the chapter is capital and capital formation, right? And if you remember, so we were doing types of capital, right? So before going to the types of capital, I would like to make a small revision in which I told you the meaning of capital and the definitions. Though meaning and definition are not much differences there, but definition is a bit difficult to understand than the meaning. So meaning says that the capital is something which is man-made, and it is the production capacity of a country, and all those goods which are can be used or which are used for further production are known as capital. So if you just say that capital is machinery, that is absolutely wrong. If I just say that capital is totally money, that will also be wrong. If I say capital is shares or debentures or invested money to earn profit, that will also be wrong. So capital is mixture of all these things. What is capital exactly? We are going to understand through the different types of capital. So right now what we are doing is the types of capital. Till now we have done working capital and fixed capital. We have done social capital and personal capital, and we have done, I believe, the third sunk capital. Sunk capital we have done. Sunk capital and floating capital. Yes, sunk capital and floating capital. So we have done these three types of capital, and today we'll be moving further with the types of capital. So next type capital we are going to do is internal capital and external capital. So what is internal capital? What is external capital? See, capital which is used within the country. The capital which is used within the domestic territory of a country or within the geographical boundary of a country, that is your internal capital, right? And whatever capital we get from the outside country is known as external capital. So this is what internal capital and external capital. So whatever capital goods we are producing within the country for the further production and using them for the further production, that is going to be called internal capital. Whereas if we are purchasing some sort of capital from outside the country and we are getting into the country and then using it, then that is going to be external capital, right? So what does it say is, when the capital of a country is used within the territory, it is internal capital, and when the capital is obtained from foreign country and then it is used in the your country, our own country, then it is going to be external capital. So this is internal and external. Internal and external we are telling on the basis of what? On the basis of the geographical boundary of a country, right? Next is your national and international capital. National and international capital. Though internal capital and external capital and national capital and international capital are quite similar, still national capital includes all those public and private capital. So whatever sectors we have in the economy, as India is a mixed economy, so we have public capital also and private capital also. If we add on these all things, then this will be your national capital. It includes your building, your land, your machinery, whatever is possessed by either private sector or the public sector. This is going to be known as what? National capital. As well as international capital is concerned, this is the capital which we purchase from outside. From one, we obtain from one or two or three countries. So when we are obtaining or procuring capital from outside countries, one country, two country or three country, and getting it to India for the production, then this will be known as what? International capital. So international capital, what's written is, international capital is owned by two or more than two countries. For example, COSI project. So they are saying international capital is owned by two or more country. So see, in national capital, we whatever the capital goods we have in the country that are owned by us only. But in the case of the international capital, I told you, when we have a ownership with one country, two country or three country of a capital good, then this is what? Then this will be known as your international capital. So in this case, the basic difference is, in this case, the international capital and the national capital, the basis of the to understand is the ownership. So in national capital, all the capital goods which are within the country and are used for the production that are owned by India, either it is owned by private sector or the public sector. So these are national capital, whereas international capital are those capital which are owned by India plus one or two other country also. Then in that case, it will be known as international capital. So here we are basically talking about what? Ownership. Next is your consumption capital and production capital. Consumption capital and production capital. So now what is consumption capital? They are saying that consumption capital, which is capital which is invested for the direct satisfaction of human. Example, capital spent on food, clothing, health, medicine and other things is what? Is a consumption capital. So basically consumption capital is basically used for the direct, or it is used to produce such goods which can be directly used by the people. So this is what? Consumption capital. Whereas your production capital are all those things which are used to produce these goods. Okay, production capital helps in production. Example could be machinery, tool, equipment, etc. Right? So in this case, we are producing the goods and we are consuming them. So basically, you are using machinery here, you are using machinery here, and then you are producing biscuit. So in this case, this is going to be a consumption capital, and in this case, these things are going to be your what? Production capital. So again, capital which is invested for the direct satisfaction of human want is known as your consumption capital. So I am using machinery, I am investing money on machinery for what? For the production of biscuit. So when we are investing money in such goods which will help in the direct consumption by the public. So here the direct consumption is biscuit. So whatever money the country is investing in the production of biscuit or food or cloth or medicine, that type of production is known, that type of investment is known as capital investment or consumption capital investment. Whereas the things, the medium through which you are doing the production, that is the mediums are machine, tools, etc. equipments. So the expenditure done on such goods which indirectly satisfy our wants is known as what? Production capital. Right? The next is your private capital and public capital. Very simple. Private capital and public capital. So all the capital goods which are owned by private sector are private capital. All the capital which is owned by the government or the public is known as what? Public capital. Like all the industries of government sector, BHEL is a great example, railway is a great example, right? In this case, private capital, whatever capital is held by the private sector for the consumption is known as private capital. Example, Reliance is the great example, Tata is great example. These all are what? Private sector industries. So all the capital owned by private sector will be known as private capital. All the capital owned by or invested by the government is known as public capital. Right? Next is your remunerative capital and auxiliary capital. Capital which is given to work in the form of wages is known as remunerative capital. Next is your remunerative and auxiliary capital. So remuneration, basically what is remuneration? Remuneration is whatever you get in return of your work, whatever you get in return of your labor. So whenever you are working for someone, in return you get wages or you get salary or you get something else. That is known as remuneration. Because like if in case I am teaching and I am getting in return, I am getting money for it, so it is my remuneration. So basically remuneration is your reward. So remuneration capital is what? Whenever somebody is giving you labor, right? Capital which is given in the form of remuneration, in the form of wages, in the form of salary is known as what? Remunerative capital. Right? Whereas what is auxiliary capital? Auxiliary capital helps a laborer to produce goods. A hammer, a pair of gloves, a pair of safety goggles. These all things are what? Remunerative capital. These all are what? Remunerative capital, auxiliary capitals, right? So auxiliary capitals basically help a labor in production. Example, gloves, tools, right? Whereas this is what? Reward for work. Reward for work. Like wages is the example. Right? So they are saying capital which is given to worker in the form of wages is known as remunerative capital. Right? Wages is the example, salary is the example. Same way, auxiliary capital helps a laborer to produce goods. A hammer, a pair of plier, wood, etc. are auxiliary capital for the labor or for the carpenter. So these are basically the tools or things which help a labor for production or in production, whereas remuneration is again remuneration or reward for the hard work of labor. So these are what different types of capital. So the basic thing or the main point to understand here is this, that when we say capital, right, when we say capital, never think that capital is only machinery or capital is only money or capital is only tool. This is something which is very unclear. So when we read the different types of capitals, then we actually come to know that capital is so many things, right? Capital is remunerative. That means if you are paying wages to a labor or salary to someone, that is also a sort of capital. If you are paying tools or you are giving gloves or you are giving plier or hammer to your worker, that is also a capital, right? And the ownership also decides the capital. Like if the capital belongs to the private sector, then it is private capital. If it belongs to public sector, it is public capital. Then again, international, national. That means the domestic boundaries also decide what is going to be the capital. So capital is a very wide concept which becomes clear to us when we go through the types of capital. So basically, how many types of capital we have done? Around 8 types of capitals we have done. And it is very important for you to go through all types of capital and to learn all types of capital, because in your board exams, they may ask any capital in detail. Either they basically they ask you one for 2 marks, one type of capital for 2 marks, and one type of capital for around 7 marks. So skipping any kind of capital is going to be very, very foolish on your side, right? So the next topic we are going to read is characteristics of capital. This chapter is not too long. We are going to finish it soon. Characteristics of capital. So here we are going to read about the main features, what exactly the main features are of capital. I told you that capital is a factor of production, and it is the third factor of production, and now we are going to read about it. The important thing is, the important characteristics of features are capital is the result of past labor. So what they are trying to say is this: capital is the result of past labor. See, when we talk about capital, it means machineries, it means land, it means tool, it means wages, so many things, right? So when we talk about machinery, just like take an example. If you are just talking about machinery as a capital, so how do we get these capital goods? When we produce them, right? So basically capital goods are man-made, so we are doing what? Production. And how come we are doing production? Because we are investing in that particular industry which is producing machineries. If you just talk about big machineries which are producing ice creams, right? Machineries are producing ice creams. So the machinery which are producing ice creams, again they are produced in some factories, right? So these factories, to settle these factories, to establish these factories, what do we need? We need money. So this money is basically what? Saved. So first we save money, then we invest that money, and then we get what? Capital goods. So we can say that capital is nothing but the result of past labor. We have done so much of hard work, we have done labor, we have put our efforts, then we have earned money, and then we have got what? Then we have settled the industry, established the industry to produce these industrial goods or to produce these capital goods, and that's why we are saying that what? Capital is nothing but the capital is result of past labor. Right? Capital is production of factory production. When human efforts are combined with natural resources, when human efforts are combined with natural resources, what do we get is industries, and from these industries what do we get? We get capital from these industries. Capital means, capital could be anything, so basically we can say that capital you can take as machinery or things which can be further used for production. Second, capital is result of saving. As I just told you, capital is what? Result of this is also very important. Again, I told you just here, I told you that you earn money, right? You are earning what? Money. You are saving money, putting it in bank, from bank. These are invested. इनको invest कर दिया जाता है, ठीक है? Invest करने के बाद क्या हो जाता है? फैक्ट्री बनती है, एंड फ्रॉम फैक्ट्री क्या निकलता है? कैपिटल गुड्स, कैपिटल बनता है, ठीक है? तो ये बेसिकली क्या, अगर सेविंग्स नहीं होगी तो आप बैंक में पैसा नहीं रखोगे, बैंक में पैसा नहीं रखोगे तो वहाँ से कोई लोन लेके उसको इन्वेस्ट नहीं करेगा, फैक्ट्री नहीं खोलेगा, कैपिटल गुड्स नहीं बनेंगे. सो वेरी सिंपल. आई होप द होल थिंग्स गेट्स क्लियर टू यू फ्रॉम दिस वेरी सिंपल फ्लो चार्ट. सो अगेन आई रीड, कैपिटल इज मैन मेड एंड born out of saving done by man. If supply is increased or diminished by the effort of man, thus capital man-made factor of production. This is a second characteristics. Third, capital is indispensable factor. Capital not an indispensable factor. Capital is not an right. Capital is not an indispensable factor. Now what does this mean? इसका मतलब ये है, capital is not an indispensable factor of production. Production can be possible even without capital, whereas land and labor are original and indispensable factor. तो पहले तो ये समझिए कि what do you mean by indispensable? Indispensable मतलब very important, right? So capital is not a very important factor. In the other words, simple words, I can say that capital is not a very important factor of production. That means even without capital, even without big machineries, even without tools, you can go for production, right? Because if you just see the olden times, there we never had big machineries. Still, such beautiful monuments you can see today, they were made out of simple technical skills, simple logics and simple machinery made by people. So at that time we had simple machineries made up of wood and other resources were there. Ropes were there to do things. So even very hard things were done by those different styles. So even today, if we can say that even today, if you don't have machinery, you can go for production. You have production. Though capital has made our production very easy, and it has given a finishing to our goods. It has given a style and a look to our goods. But we can't say that it is indispensable. We can't say that it's very, very important. Even without this, production can go on. But yeah, land and labor, they are saying land and labor are indispensable factor. Without land, you cannot go for production. Without labor, you cannot go for production. So another important thing is capital is indispensable factor of production. I'll read this out. It says that capital is an indispensable factor of production, right? Is not an indispensable factor of production as in the case of labor and land. Very simply they have written. क्योंकि अगर मशीनरी नहीं है तो भी आप प्रोडक्शन कर सकते हो, क्योंकि पहले भी प्रोडक्शन किया जाता था बिना मशीनरी के. Next is your mobile factor of production. Mobile मतलब you can mobile means it can move from one place to another. That means you can withdraw capital from one place and put it in some other place for production. You can withdraw the capital from the production of one commodity and shift it to the production of another commodity. So capital has the highest mobility. It can easily be withdrawn and involved in some other production also. If you feel that the particular goods are not are not in demand much, so you can withdraw your machinery and your capital from that place, and you can put it in the production of some other commodity which is in highly in demand. So these are what these are 4 characteristics, and there are a few more, around four more characteristics is there, because if I am going to explain you those characteristics also, the video is going to be too lengthy for you people. So I believe 20 minutes video is enough for you. So rest of the 4 characteristics will be discussing in tomorrow's video. I hope the things are getting clear to you. Even after watching my video, you can just go through the things given in your book. It will become very easy. Class 10 economic application is not that difficult. I believe, I hope it's not difficult for you people, and go through the book, whatever I have taught you. I'll see you soon in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Stay home, stay healthy.